Welcome to the Busy Being Born podcast with your hosts Kamande and Kigondu.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Busy Being Born podcast. The wrap-up episode 2022 is a bye-bye. Ladies and gentlemen, karibuni sana maze.
It's been another year, man.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Another year maze.
Yeah.
So as you know, we don't do it by ourselves. If you haven't listened to any episode like we've done ya wrap up, this is the one to listen to and go back to the previous years, because we have a guest who's a co-host for this one, and he's been here a couple of times, and we have a brilliant lady, and that's where I'll jump in. So ladies and gentlemen, hata to waste time, tunaingia ndani. 2022 did the thing. I give you the one and the only magnificent AD. So she does ADing. I think she is a brilliant producer, and kaja amua kukalia hiyo line vizuri, I'm sure she'll jump in, because I see a lot of a big bright future there. She's a brilliant actor. I had the honor of being like the Hazi, unajua, not her playing my wife. I had the honor of being the husband to her in the legendary I Will Marry When I Want. So without further ado, I welcome my love. Msianze kunishuku, by the way. Blogs, write shit about us, ndio watu wacheki Busy Being Born. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we give you the one and the only Veronica Waceke. Karibu sana. Hey! Tunaweza piga ngemi. It's a thing. Tano za mrembo. Karibu sana Sheke.
Asante.
Good to have you. Kamande pia tuna mwingine in the house.
And then Kamakawa, he's been with us for the past 2 years. Yeah. This is the third time in as a co-host for this wrap-up episode. He's one of my really, really good friends. I'd go as far as saying he's one of my best friends. He is a brilliant human being, but even more than that, he is a kind human being. I think he's an exemplar for how we should go about life. I learn a lot from him every day, just about how he goes about his life. So he's a man from Bumala. Yeah. He's a Bafofoyo. I can never get my nini around that. Apparently, it's the royal clan. So there's a name they call the kings and queens. So he's a Bafofoyo. He is a techie. He's an all-round superb human being. The one and only Byron.
Byron in the house. Hey, we have royalty in the building, man. Royalty in the building.
Thank you so much.
This is the closest we'd get to Ciala.
Bana.
But anakamova Mbaku.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, he does.
Right?
He does. And also, even before we jump right in, guess who's the new husband in town?
Hey.
The one and only Byron. Hey,
congratulations,
wow.
man.
Congrats.
Thank you.
How many weeks has it been?
A week and a half.
A week and a half.
You look happier.
I do.
I could
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
Shout out to my woman, who's now my wife.
My woman.
D.
Hey.
Wherever you are,
Yeah.
big up.
She's probably next to you, ukisema hivyo, as you're watching this.
She's in my heart.
Yeah.
So,
That's what's up. Karibuni sana.
Asante.
2022, the year of World Cup, the year of elections, the year of weddings. So many things went on.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. Maze, Kamande unasemaje?
Mi nataka kwanza na Waceke, because the last time you were here to do the wrap-up was 2020.
Oh yeah, alituruka mwaka moja.
Alituruka, sindio? I don't know. She said she was too busy for us last year.
Busy being born.
Yeah, busy being born.
Proud of her.
And that was in the middle of COVID. I think tulikuwa na figure out, okay, this thing that hit us this year, what's happening, what are the plans for 2021. But then I think somehow at the end of maybe somewhere in 2021, we emerged out of it, hopefully. So, yeah, I don't think at least now we've learned how to live with it. You kama bado iko, of course, we just need to learn how to live with it.
Variations
Kuna variations
mpya, like
mpya.
Beijing wanasema almost more than 500.
Yeah.
But anyway, bismillah.
Yeah, for you who's listening to this in 2074, you'll read there's a part of history that you need to go back to 2019, 2020, 2021 and read about the COVID-19 pandemic. Anyway, so the last time you were here was the end of 2020. I know that 2022 things opened up. significantly. We've seen you on our screens. We've seen you on stages. We've heard about all the great things you're doing. How has your year been?
My year, my 2022. It's been amazing, man. It's been amazing. I have my career, family. I really can't complain. I remember the last time I was here, I think we talked about, told you guys about me wanting to do a lot of my stuff in terms of production and stuff. But God had his own plans, yeah? So I ended up not doing really my own stuff, but doing stuff with other people that are bringing me closer to even doing my own stuff. Because I believe, at times, the end justifies the means, right? So if I want to be a producer in future, it's a plus if I'm working on someone else's project as a line producer, because I get to learn a lot, such that in the end, when I get to do mine, I'll have done the practice. So 2022 has been a year where I have gained a lot of experience in terms of production work. I have also done amazing work on stage and on film with this guy over here, Gahika Deda.
I remember that.
Yeah.
What a masterpiece.
That was dope. She was brilliant.
Thank you. Gosh, she was brilliant. It was amazing. It was really amazing on set. And also my family has been great. I had a loss in there, but it's all good. It's all God's work. But all in all, my 2022 was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's good to hear. I'm still watching County 49, and every time I'm watching, I'm like, hey, Waceke, and you're doing a great job at it. Byron is watching the same thing, right? Now you've malized it.
Yeah, of course, nimemaliza.
We need more people like Byron Bana.
I watch it weekly. Or rather, I used to watch it weekly.
You know what? You're my favorite guest. Nisha Sema. Oh, Waceke pia. You're cool.
Nisa. Mimi wife yako huko.
There you go.
Kwa stage.
Yeah. So we've watched you on that. We are watching you on that, and you're doing such an amazing job. For anyone who's not watched County 49, maze changamkia Showmax, and it has a lot of local productions that are helping, actually, where our very brilliant creatives are showcasing their work. Kigondu is also part of that, isn't it?
Yeah, Showmax.
County 49. County 49.
Yeah. We did writing for it. Brilliant writers behind it. Tulikuwa leadership ya Volino Gutu. Then the writers on the ground, myself, Brian Monene, and Masi Mutisia. So but what is writing like when you don't have brilliant actors to do the thing? And very good leadership from Likarion. The actors did brilliant.
And so
can I share something about County 49? And also in part of that answer about 2022. So I am busy from the beginning of the year doing a lot of production work. And then once you get a break, I sort of manifest and tell God, you know what, I want these 3 months to do something acting related, and just let it be dope. God, let it be dope, So in that breath, I get the Ngugi wa Thiong'o play. And then as I'm starting the Ngugi wa Thiong'o play, in the first week of actually the morning of that rehearsal, the first rehearsal, I go for rehearsals, and then I get a call from a casting agent, and he's like, Sheke, I saw, because I actually wrote on my socials, I said, you guys, I want a good acting gig. So this casting director saw it. So he calls me and he's like, Sheke, hey, you're around, you're Nini, Ebu, do this script up, this audition, and send it. I'm like, can I send it tomorrow? No, send it today by 11. So I go for rehearsals. In between the break for rehearsals, I tell Martin, come, you help me do this audition. Hold the camera for me. Actually read the lines for me. And then another lady I had met on that rehearsal, do the lines for me. I mean, the camera. And as I'm doing the thing, after I'm done, Martin tells me, wait, these lines are familiar. I know these lines. I'm like, And then he's like, oh, I've written this. I'm like, what? Then I ask him questions like, what is it? What is it? Dope project? He's like, staki kushare mingi only to realize later ni hiyo county 49.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was weird.
That was really weird.
Serendipity, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. 2022.
Amazing.
2022.
Amazing. You're doing a great job. Sorry, the last comment on County 49. The last time we were here, you talked about you and Mato being friends, right? You've come such a long way as friends, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
And even the chemistry on set, not on set, on TV, it's a bit apparent.
Mato,
Mato.
the other Mato.
The other Mato,
Githinji.
he was on Nini as well.
Martin
The first
Githinji.
run of
Yeah.
Gahikadeda. Yeah, Martin Githinji, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can see it.
Daddy Mato.
Daddy Mato.
you.
Actually, Daddy Mato.
Mm.
Yeah. So you can see it as well, and you guys do such a great job. Yeah, I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
Shukran.
Byron, now how was the year been other than before the last 1.5 weeks?
It was eventful. I think I'll start with the last, obviously the last week, getting married. Such a huge step for me and also the families involved. Professionally, it's been good. It's been really good. I was one of the awardees of the African Professional Awards for FinTech.
Hey.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you so much. Throughout the year, I think it's been, for me, I think it's been full of spectacle. There's just been a lot going on, from the sporting world to the music world, now to a lot has been happening. So I will go back to, even for the past month or so, going back from the World Cup. And I think when we were here last time, one thing that really we were looking forward to was now sports getting back the fans in the
stadium.
Yes, in the stadiums and the arenas, which is something that happened. So I'm really happy to see people out there right now, people reconnecting, unlike what it was before. But it's been elections too, so we've been in a state of suspense in a way. But there's been a lot of spectacle.
Yeah.
That's how I'd summarize the year for me.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's not just hitting me that sport was weird. Like, especially when you watch football.
No
crowds. No crowds. You can hear every kick of the ball, every grunt.
Yeah.
At some point, they started putting like a crowd.
Yes,
thing.
they started.
And we enjoy. Hakuna mtu.
Like the laughters on sitcoms.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That was weird.
It was very, very weird.
Yeah.
And you realize sports is not just about actually the players themselves. It's like, it's the fans as well, and the whole event.
Yeah, that is an interesting comment to make, because nilikuwa na watch what's his name, LeBron on the shop. Akisema, of course there's a focus of doing the game, when do you do your thing, but you also have to keep in mind it's for the fans.
Yes.
So you're thinking about that kid who's coming here to watch you for the first time, and for the first time, for me, your comment you can throw place here. Oh yeah, like as much as it's a go do your thing kind of sport, ama engagement, it's also a there are so many people watching you and engaging in different ways. Maybe we won't win the game, but the guy who'll watch me will feel they can get over whatever they're going through.
Oh
Like,
man,
I didn't know this about sports.
It's true. Oh, I wish you guys could watch one of the best things I've watched this year. I don't know if you've done that, Byron. You're probably the one who would hear. It's called Chasing the Sun. It's a story.
I watched that.
You did?
No, I didn't.
Oh wow.
Si hata umesema ni Byron too.
No, they're telling you to chekesha people at weddings. You're a clown. Mato just told us the funniest story. He told me the funniest story of how he goes to MC weddings. Then guys are like, chekesha watu bana.
Keep going. Tusingie frustrations.
Chasing the Sun.
Yeah.
It's about the Springboks. So Springboks are the rugby team of South Africa, and they won the last Rugby World Cup in 2019. So they document the story, and I don't know what. So they beat England in the finals, and I don't know about England's story, but South Africa's story is special because South Africa has always had issues around race and poverty, apartheid, so many things, right? So even in 2019. It was sort of a culmination of so many societal problems in South Africa, and just them winning that World Cup was monumental. It's such a big deal for the society. They show these clips of different places across the country as they were scoring that last try that cemented their win. And you see the reactions of these boys in slums, of white men in I don't know what places. Like rugby is what brought that country together. And it's the same thing that happened, I could say maybe in 1994, 95 when they won the World Cup.
There's a movie.
There's a movie about it.
Morgan Freeman movie about that.
When they beat New Zealand. Even New Zealand guys were like we couldn't have lost to, it's okay for us to lose to South Africa at this point in time. Yeah. And then this World Cup was also the first time that a black person has lifted it's called the Webb Ellis Cup. His name is Ciala Kaduong. And then you hear when you guys should just watch, even forget about the sports, just for the drama itself and for story factor. For the story factor, how well it's done. And then there's this his commentator, like his black commentator who talks in I don't know if it's Zulu or he's like, Ciala Kaduong, stand up, Gauteng, stand up. And then you see like all these crowds in so many different places. Oh my God. I've watched that maybe like 4 times, especially that one episode. And it's just magnificent in terms of the impact that rugby has on South Africa. They're like, Mark, I'm going to change my team now.
Yeah, when spring.
That's the power of sports. I think what I'd add to that, if they're looking to do a movie, the next movie, I think Kamande here
that's a moment
can do that as that presenter.
Right? He could play the guy.
No, the guy is too talented.
Springboks.
Man. And then he's like, it's just amazing. So yeah, the power of sports.
Yeah.
And just bringing people together. And what are we talking about? The events and everything.
Oh man, that is so interesting. 2 things have come from that story. Number 1 is it reminds me of Armageddon. Mnakumbuka the movie Armageddon, when finally then the whole world is like wanna cut to different spaces in the world. Number 1,
it's exactly you see that like exactly. That's the same thing that happens in that documentary. Yeah.
So and then recently, this like a couple of weeks ago, December 2022. There was this toys who are black in a pool in a swimming pool, and they were in a whites only pool. So only then you cut to those guys. Hey, racism. Oh, yay!
Then they all celebrate
then
back
to the racism thing. Anyway, weird thought. What about your ear? How was your ear?
My ear has been beautiful. Got a second born toy.
Congratulations.
Got a second born toy. You've talked about it so many times on the episode, but I think we've not talked about it in terms of like wrapping up the year with our guests. So got a toy. That was obviously monumental in so many ways. It's been such an enjoyable ride. 2.0, partly because you have the reps, like you've learned how to sort of be at this stage, but also it's weird because I feel like evolution does this thing to you where you forget it makes you forget like the discomfort. Because I feel like if you remembered all the maybe the pain and discomfort, and I think it happens to chicks as well in terms of childbearing, because if you remembered the pain, you didn't give birth again. So even like in terms of parenting, you remember, oh man, those first 2 months and how rough they were. If you remember that as vividly, as that experience as vividly as it happened, bana kupata mtoi ingekuwa kitu tunakataa. But now, like, so that's part of it. So like we forgot, but then you also missed that part. It's a weird thing because you miss, like, with every day your children grow, and it's like, now I was just looking through videos of my firstborn, and when he couldn't pronounce words, he's the guy asking all the why questions. Why? And he's he's becoming he's still fun in so many ways. But then there are days when he couldn't speak, and then you miss it, and you're like, our second one who's coming there as well. I want to
experience it again.
Yeah. And it's not something really to get attached to, but it's just it's a good experience, to be honest. But we've done the reps, so it's easier now. It was good training ground. For us to become better parents to our second born, which has been a huge improvement. So that work has been great, and getting to do this podcast and all the evolution that has come from it. Again, having so many great guests. What else has happened this year? A lot of weddings. I was privileged, honored to be on Byron's team as he was doing his thing. Both the first meeting as well as the other couple of meetings culminating into the wedding, and that was such I'll use his word, such a spectacle. Nilipeleka mahali kunaitwa Ciala Kaduong. Bana, it was amazing just getting to experience different cultures. And then the week before that, I had been somewhere in Burnt Forest also, for one of my colleagues, Koito is like the Kalenjin thing. So like just getting to experience those different cultures of, two people who love each other and all the best for each other, just coming together and then getting the community involved in different cultures, and the same thing manifests, which is, I think we all want some form of happiness. Maybe marriage is one of those ways that gets us there. Because even for that one day, you see so much joy, despite all the challenges that they pose to the MC. I was coming there. You see all that joy. So a lot of weddings, different cultures. I recently got a chance to also experience, it's been a wedding after wedding. One of my good friends from California, but he's of Chinese heritage descent, marrying a Kisi. So like also like such a nice mix of cultures. That and my significant other, my wife, that is, she's been pushing her business hard for this year. So that has also come with its set of lessons, because it's for the first time now she's like giving her everything into it, and then coupling that up with motherhood, which is, oh my God, it's hard. And she's a mother to 3. Because I'm the first one.
Number one.
I'm the first to and then building our own business. So just getting through all that, I think it's been overall a solid year. In terms of as a person, it's been a year full of lessons, and growth through the comfort and the discomfort of it all.
That's what's up.
And then obviously the sports, but the sports has been,
it was
insane.
A good year.
Partly. So partly sports, sports like it's up and down. It has crests and troughs, like everything in life. My local team was almost relegated at the beginning of this year. Harlequins, shout out to Kenya Harlequins and everyone around that. They almost relegated. It came down to head-to-head, head-to-head. So like, when they do the table at the end of the season, it's based on fasting the points. So poleni najua mimi napenda tuwapelekaga sana into sports.
Sienda nini
kiasi tu.
Nipo we explain because mimi nilikuwa nadhani nini unajua you're relegated, I'm sorry, unajua.
For those who are interested in sports, and this is how it works, like across like basketball, football, baseball, everything. So locally,
this one ni football,
rugby.
Ni rugby.
Minutes were Rouge mbaya. So what happened? So at the end of the season, kila team imecheza I think 11 games, because it was a short. So normally it would be you play home and away, but because of COVID, we only played one leg. Then we went. So at the end of the season, kuna hiyo ranking ya table. Then the bottom 2 teams have to be relegated to the second division, and then the top 2 teams from the lower division have to be promoted. So the first thing you look at is the points, the total points. So how many points have you accumulated at the end of that season in that table? If there's a difference, then well and good. It's a very easy way out. Hizi ndizo timu mbili ziko na whatever points ziende. If there's a tie in points, what's the next thing that you look at, especially at the bottom? So what happened is the bottom team ilikuwa separated out. Hiyo ilikuwa on its own, so ikarelegatiwa. However, number 10 and 11, because there are 12 teams, number 10 and 11 were tied on points. Sindio? So what do you look at?
You look at like the cutest uniform. Yawa ni poa. You're in. No? Keep going.
The next thing that you look at is the goal difference, what they call the goal difference. So like the whatever, the difference of how many points you scored versus how many points you conceded. Sindio? So like rugby kuna like in any given game utasikia msema ameshinda 22-6, 22 ni. So like all that accumulation less how many points you conceded. Sindio? Hiyo pia tulikuwa tumetie on the last day. So like what are the odds? Sindio? So what's the next thing? Na come to head to head. Sindio? Na come head to head. What happened there? So hapo ndio at least tuliweza kusurvive.
What is that though?
Barely.
Like you now go and
like for those two teams, teams, what happened in that season? Nani alishinda in the game, or
what's the record against each other?
The record against each other.
When they played against each other.
Hey, sawa. Enough sports. We are good for the day. Good for the year.
So kuna hiyo local rugby. Then of course there is like the world rugby, and then there is a lot of things happening. Ireland toured New Zealand this year and they won the series, which is something that's never happened. What else? We almost made it to the World Cup, Kenya rugby. Of course, if imaginally, but I don't think we are so close yet so far away because of our structures. Hoping that changes one day. What else? The World Cup, of course. I think that's
the World Cup happened. Speaking of rugby, this is for the guys who are watching us, and then you watch episode hata sikuwatch nikusikiza episode ya
Joshua Chisanga, the beast
Chisanga, legendary
beast.
That was a dope episode.
I'd say he's the first Kenyan to go pro, if I recall this correctly. He's
check that out, maze.
Full of lessons, man.
Full of lessons. For me, it's been an interesting one, Pia. It's been super busy, super busy. A lot of what's the word of meeting people again? Reconnecting. A lot of reconnecting. A lot of, I've done more crowds than I have probably before, because maybe before hata nikifanya show on stage itakuwa 1 or 2 sold out shows, that's it, but imekuwa back to back a lot of those, so it's been thousands of people around me, which is weird. So for the first time in a very long time, I haven't had like bouts of time to myself, and that's my thing. Waceke unanijua mimi hao watu wakumo from there. For the first time, I didn't have that privilege.
For you,
right?
Must be hard.
Must be hard.
It's tough.
Yeah, making money out here must be hard. No, so it was. I'll just say busy. It's been busy. Has it been fulfilling? Yes, it has. Has it been exciting? Yes, it has. Has it come with challenges to it? Of course it has. Yeah, so yeah, that's what's up.
Man, bana. Every time nilikuwa naangalia mazee ma social media zako, niko like, okay, watu wamemaliza. I see another poster. Ria.
And we are back.
And you're back. Juzi nilikuwa nadhani nimemaliza. This was December, right? December. Then unatuchapa na poster ingine sijui ya Jan.
You're coming soon. Yeah, we have like 2-3 projects before February is here.
Wow.
But no wonder niko zile za you know what, maybe in April, and this just saying maybe in touching story, but niko after April I'll have done a solid year of back-to-back theater shows. Wow. So maybe it's time to now step away from the acting and just do everything else, from directing to producing and everything else I do. A bit more podcasting as well. Maze imwaka imekuwa ile bro man, wacha tuipush to next week. But somehow we have survived out here, like the Busy Being Born podcast. Wacha niwe put on the spot. Have you guys been listening? Like, is there a particular favorite episode? Sa ndio na change your nini eye contact. It is well. Check out the Busy Being Born podcast. Abuz.
Recency bias, but ni sawa tu.
Smart.
No,
we'd actually spoken about that the last time we were here, that he should do one, and finally did.
Finally.
So it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. That was a dope episode. That was a really dope episode. Any particular highlights from the run, from the year for you? Any particular guess now that tutafunga year BBB in maybe a few minutes?
Obviously, I have a...
I know your favorite. Nini Washera.
Yeah, Nini Washera. Yeah. I think Nini Washera has been hands down my favorite episode to date.
That's what's
and like simply because this is someone you grew up listening to, and I don't know if you guys have this, like there's an aura that certain people have.
No, she does have that.
She has an aura that is, maybe, I don't know, she's like from another world. You know what I mean? Like she has that aura. And then Mato, we spoke about this. Mato came and told me that, hey, but I was on a project with Nini. I asked about coming to the show and sharing her story. And I think you'll enjoy it. I'm like, okay, I will. But then I was freaking out. Because, bro, it's Nini Washera. She's OG. No disrespect to any of our guests, but you guys grew up listening to Nini Washera, right? She has this aura that, I don't know, man. Anyway, so I was freaking out. And then we come in, and I even talked about this on as we started recording. I was a bit nervous. To be honest. And then 10 minutes in, bro. And after that, like we talked for hours and hours and hours and hours. And yeah, it's been one of my favorite moments of the year. To be honest. And then we did other things, and we connected so much, which was wild. It's just also a reminder of, despite all these walls and all these adjectives that we use to describe me and other, that's really nothing. There's nothing in there. If you look carefully, there's no me and other. There's just us. There's just me. Actually, there's just me. There's just us as one.
Yeah.
And so once you break those two walls that we've normally recorded for ourselves as huyo ni Waceke na anakuaga hivi na Waceke ni mtu mwingine, huyu ni Kamande anakuaga hivi na mtu mwingine. There is nothing really, it crumbles down and you realize Waceke is me. Unajua? And I'm Waceke. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Aya, wacha tuangalie hiyo sasa tukiingia ndani.
Goja, before you do that, has there been amesema Abu, have you listened to any of the episodes this year?
Ndio nilikuwa nataka kuchorea.
Anaangalia na nimechorea.
Nimecheki wife iko anachorea story. Wacha nichorea.
We are going to YouTube. We are on YouTube now.
But it's all fair because Kamande haja watch County 49.
Exactly.
I'm watching.
Ako jiani.
Wacha.
Ni sawa, nilikuwa nataka kuchorea hiyo moment. It is well, it is here. Let us sit in it.
What's your favorite episode before you go on to them?
My favorite episode from the year. Man, I have to say I really liked when we were by ourselves. And this is because a friend of mine, actually a couple, because ni moja iliniguza the most, but nimerealize a couple of people also hollered about episode ya kuna moja Wabi-sabi, yes. Yes, actually both. All the episodes we've done by ourselves zimekuwa na very interesting reactions, because there's a lot of people have been vulnerable with me. So mtu atanicall after an episode and this meant this to me, and I have to appreciate that. Because when you have a guest, now we focus on them, but when it's time to like go through things we are going through as well, weirdly people, well, not weirdly, because you said we are all one, they somehow relate. So anyway, that has been mine. Aya, for you guys, wacha nianze na Waceke. In this year that has just malizwad, is that a word? Anyway, hiyo tu imeisha. Is there a thing, and this is a question we normally ask, is there a thing that ili shift perspective yako on life? A thing you went through, and from that moment on, I realized I'd always thought different of this. Is there an experience you went through or something that maybe going forward may change perspective totally on life?
Yes. Sijui see it's one particular day hapa alafu niko like, this Eureka. But there was something that I was going through, like that I was beating myself up about, and is motherhood. Being a mom, and doing it singly, sort of. That's not the story, but I used to beat myself up kidogo, because there's this whole balance you're trying to get, and you want to provide for your child, but you also want to be there with them. You want to be there for all the school things. You want to be there with the CBC curriculum every day, but at the same time you also want to go and get the money. So sometimes it was beginning to get to me, and of course some people can be too loud in your space, like umeenda tena mwezi ingine umemwachana, is that safe, is it okay, you get. And it used to get to me. But this year, coupled with me reading a book by Shonda Rhimes, Year of Yes, there is somewhere that she wrote and she was talking about her being a very busy filmmaker and all that, and having 3 children and all that. And she said that the way there is a lot of judgment about being a mom, you have to be there. Like being a stay-at-home mom is like you earn more bonga points, because being a mom is a full-time job. It's a job. And then she said, but no, being a mom is not a job. It is a way of life. It is something that ntasemaji, umewacha kuwa wewe anymore, umekuwa this other person. So it's not a job, because a job you can resign, a job you can get overtime, a job you
can clock out.
You can clock out. Yeah. Being a mom, you can't clock out. So it does not mean that when you're in the military and you're going for wherever, or when you're traveling for business trips, or when you're working overtime at work, you're less of a mom. Being a mom also means putting food on that table. You get what I mean? And it made me feel like, hell yeah, Shakir, stop beating yourself up. You're a mom, you're killing it. You have to go out there, provide for this child, and it will not make you any less of a mom. So for me, it was a very big turning point. And from the time I stopped beating myself about all that, I now feel freer. And I'm okay. Like my daughter, I usually tell her, Mommy, now I'm going, and I am going for many days. And she sort of now understands. Well, she still used to, but now I feel less guilty. You know what I mean? And I will go, I will video call her every day and everything. And after 1 month, when I come back home, I won't even feel the pressure now. Because I've been away for a month, let me come with a lot of gifts because I want to validate myself to this child. No, I was your mom while I'm away. I am your mom here, and moms have to do these things. You get? So that's one of the things that have really turned in
That's
my ear.
beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
beautiful,
that's
man.
amazing, and very proud of you for that realization. Moms are amazing, man. Yeah, and you're doing a great job. One thought, of course, I always have thoughts on things and ideas. It's mostly ideas. The motivation behind our actions. At the end of the day, that's all that I feel like. That's all that matters. So if your motivation is right, your motivation is what we call maybe skillful and wholesome. Yeah, your motivation is not hatred, delusion, ignorance. Maybe your motivation is wise, it's compassionate. Then that is all that matters.
True.
Yeah.
Byron, you're here. Any moment of, oh, maybe life isn't that?
How could I follow that up? For me, I think, or rather I believe, it's been the entire process leading up to the nyombo, which is now the customary ceremony when you're joining now the husband and the wife. So there's ideas you normally have about yourself when you're alone, and it's so much easier. You have, let's say you have more control in what you do when you're alone. It's a bit more complex when you're with someone, and it's degrees more complex when now families are involved. All right. So the realization for me last time we had an episode was just getting to a point of understanding the role that I have or we have in the community, and how the decisions that we make affect people more than just ourselves. Which is, I'd compare it to when you're dating or dating around. Nothing against that, but if there's no.
For dating around, Martin, and it's how it is. Well, I don't feel judged.
if let me give an example, maybe if I'm in that situation, or when I'm in that situation, if there is an issue that crops up, we could just say, you know what, I'll leave, let me go my way, you go yours. When you're in a commitment such as this, you have to work things out. So you have to learn to find ways to be happy. And happy doesn't mean you're finding ways to avoid any kind of pain or issue that comes along. But you need to get better at navigating the various crests and troughs of life, which will always happen regardless. So at the point that we were doing the introduction and Kamande was there, the thought that I was thinking was, on one hand, as a couple, as Byron, the ideas that I had, or the objectives that I had, were, how do I, being also in a startup, how do I make a comfortable home? So I thought, or rather I'd been thinking of myself as someone who's not really afraid of responsibility, someone who loves people, someone who's pretty even keel. But now getting into that situation now exposes and challenges in a very good way some of those ideas that are there. So you start thinking, is it something that I should have or could have done earlier? But I'm okay that it happened the way it did, and it happened at the right time. But what it gave me was a sense of being more daring. So I'm not really scared, or I don't really overthink things when I'm trying. If I have the right motivation, obviously with a bit of planning, right now I'm more inclined to step out and do it. And being someone that got out of campus and just got straight into business, it might seem like something that is obvious or automatic. But there's levels to that. So I'm a bit more daring when it comes to doing things where the community is involved. So that gave me a very different perspective of how people relate with each other and what choices they have available to them when there's other people involved versus when it's just yourself. So that's the big thing that happened for me this year. But it was a very pleasant experience. It's been a joyful experience for me. So I've loved, even this month, I think this would be I'd say it's my best December that I've ever had. So I'm glad.
I can see that.
How can you see that?
You're literally beaming with joy.
No, that's the avocado.
That's the avocado.
You guys had like your faces were bit. The thing.
That's a facial you get in Ciala Kaduong. So yeah. He had it too.
He had it too. Yeah, we noted.
I've been there for longer, so he's been here for a while, so it's faded a bit.
Tuli notice when aliingia kumsupport. Tunaangalia na boot because this is different.
But we kwa msupu naturally.
Yeah.
He's stretching it.
Unapala ni chokozi. Jump in with more. I want to share around that. Me hata nimeanza kufikiria because there's something Waceke said, a song played in my head. What you've shared, I'm not scared of lions and tigers and bears.
Jasmine Sullivan.
There you
Sullivan,
go.
Yeah.
2023 musical in a camp. Watch this space. Anyway, are there soundtracks that have been journeying with you throughout the year? Like, in your different experiences. Tukiwa hapo, at this time, sikusikia futa. Like, I know, like, when I get older, yo ilishika. Yeah, this year, I don't even know who did it. Hakukuwa na sijui Pitbull or someone. Ile ilikuwa na Davido or something.
Nah,
Haikushika.
he didn't have the same, you know.
No wonder.
Which is weird because this World Cup turned out to be probably the best that we've watched.
For sure.
I'd
say that.
Yeah.
Subjectively, yes, I think. And especially in the age of social media, so that also compounded it.
Yeah.
For sure.
But in terms of, again, spectacle, I don't think there's any World Cup, even leading up to the final itself, that's had as many ups and downs and events and just been entertaining generally. Yeah.
Man, at some point it felt scripted. Like it's these guys. It did.
First of all, wacha niweke two side note. I barely watched even 10 seconds of the whole World Cup.
That's fine.
So yes, please proceed.
Yeah.
No, because of the amount of, what's the word?
Let me just say,
the randomness of
the thing
too.
about sports, like Kamande said, sometimes it's not about, there is an element to being a student of the game or being a follower of the game and understanding all the intricacies and nuances. There's a level to that enjoyment, like you do with rugby. But then there's also a narrative to a game or to a tournament that now has that overarching, storyline that brings, this is the last World Cup for so and so. What's he going to do? This is a country that did this. What are they going to do now?
So and so.
Messi.
It's a good.
At least I know that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's the lad.
Oh.
It's his last. So that's why I
Interesting.
said so and so. It's two people.
But
So,
Ronaldo is that is
that's what
he
he
still
said.
young enough?
You never know, but
Okay.
I think he said it's his last World Cup. So
Yeah.
yes.
How old is Messi again? 37? No.
No.
That 7 is what I had.
37.
Underline what I had.
No,
I have
it's
no facts.
30,
when it
someone-
comes to
35.
sports.
He's 35.
Okay,
He's
still young.
35. No, 35 is not young. I think it's just.
It's not young in like football
in
years.
terms
No,
of
no,
like
no, no,
sporting, it's not young.
It's not young
It's
at
not
all.
young.
It's
Okay.
not young at all.
This
Modern-
is Messi. Tunaongelea Messi.
Yes, I'm sure he's 35.
Okay.
No.
Right on, bro. Right
Yes.
on.
Yeah, so
Clearly.
that-
So the
yeah.
narrative,
Yeah.
the narratives around it, and having, let's say, even a country like Morocco, kicking out a country like
Spain.
so many countries, but
Yeah.
let's
Portugal.
go with Spain.
Yeah.
But even Portugal. So that story, that narrative is
It's
what
Morocco
drives
who
it.
kicked out Portugal.
Yes, and Spain. So just imagine.
At least najua Portugal
So
ndio nani.
even if you didn't watch the game, just having that storyline, you're like, go to work, come back, and you're like, wow, this actually happened.
Yeah.
Man,
And especially the one for Messi. Yeah, it's a brilliant story. I don't think it's scripted, but
It can't be.
It can't be, right?
It's-
I don't think
yeah,
it's
it's
scripted.
just too absurd to
It's
be.
just too absurd. Like he comes in and they lose the first game to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, they lose that first game and everyone is like,
Saudi were the hosts.
No.
But
Guy,
just so you know
Nachoma.
how big it was, they actually had a national holiday on a day or two after
After
just
they
to
beat these
celebrate.
guys.
You've beaten Messi,
Argentina.
you've beaten Argentina. Argentina, like OGs,
Yes.
they've won 2 World Cups before. This was that.
Yeah.
Yes.
hiyo ndio iliwachocha. Kwani hawakuwatch ile documentary ya MJ? Like you don't usikasirishe the
So
goat.
I'm
goat.
just thinking if they had plans to do a documentary with Amazon when they won Copa America, and they've been delaying the release for quite some months. So I'm thinking if they actually followed the team from that time to this time,
Yeah.
it's going to be
Quite a
epic.
story.
I'm hoping they did. I'm hoping they documented
They
everything.
did,
Yeah.
and it's going to be epic.
Quite a story, man. Hey.
So just in terms of the narrative,
Yeah.
that was for me one of the best.
That's interesting. So aya ni vizuri tumetake hiyo tangent. I like it. I really like it. But clearly the World Cup song wasn't a soundtrack to this year.
No.
So what replaced it? Are there moments attached to songs from this year? We could even say some of our favorites from the year.
Yeah.
But are there songs that remind you of moments this year for you?
I think I'd say the soundtrack to this year for me has to be one of Burna Boy's songs.
Oh yeah, it was a really good year for
Burna.
Burna Boy.
Yes.
Last.
Yes, especially that one.
Yeah.
That's the one that springs to mind.
a
And
mix
it's
of
global.
Nostalgia and
Yes.
nini.
So if I had to pick a song, I'd pick that.
Oh,
For
interesting.
me. Yes.
That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Mi nauliza na hata sina moja in mind. Yeah, but it was such a year for Burna Boy.
It was.
Good for him. Good for him. I've always wanted ka kuna good conversation around the Nigerian guys. Like I think it's between the two, him and because at some point tulikuwa, oh yeah, Davido might. I don't think Davido is in that conversation.
No.
Not to
Then
say
Wizkid.
not to say he hasn't done much. He has and he will. But I really love Wizkid. So for me, this was one of those years. Nico, yeah, Burna is popping lakini Wizkid, man. Wiz everything he touches.
And just as a tangent
brilliant.
to goatness or that conversation, in any field, like I think before we started, you'd ask me about MJ and
Prince.
Prince.
Yeah.
So I just had a thought: do we consider better greater, or are those two things different, or do they overlap? Is better greater?
Is better greater? It's an interesting question.
I'm always conflicted about music conversations.
I think he's saying in every other bit.
Yeah,
or-
just
in
generally.
everything,
Yeah,
generally.
because normally you'll be comparing two individuals.
Yeah.
Yes, you'd say, is it a simpler conversation to say who is better?
Yeah.
And,
maybe.
and
what you mean.
is it simpler because then you have to have a metric to it?
Yes, whatever metric that you use.
Yeah.
So this is just a commentary when it comes to sports. So there's, for anyone that's been considered the greatest ever at a point in time, you like to look at, initially you want to look at the excellence of play. So that's the individual ability. That's one. You want to look at their dominance. At a point in time, there has to be that feeling that I'm the best. However short the period is, everyone has had that.
Yeah, moment, yeah.
Then you want to look at the sporting accomplishments. So how much have you won as a team
As
now?
a team first.
All right. And then there's now the individual accolades. How many
golden boots, etc.
exactly. And then now you want to look also at the statistical accomplishments, because there's players or people that have, if MJ sold records up to now, he's still outselling albums that are being released last year. That has to factor in. So in totality, you can look at those, but there's some that people prefer or prioritize.
People have a bias towards
Yes,
certain,
more than the other.
Yeah.
So when you're coming to, I'd say, the team accomplishments, that goes back, unless it's coupled with an individual accolade. That, yes, I did win the Premier League, or I did win the World Cup,
Yeah.
but what was your contribution into that?
Yeah.
So I think those are the 5 things that I found very interesting that someone was using to
To break it all down.
Yes.
I think that could go here to many other fields.
Yeah, it does
music
go to
included,
yes,
for
yes,
sure.
yes.
For sure.
He's something, and this is like a total spanner into the works. And we can't change this, but I wonder why it has to come to that conversation on who is the greatest.
Exactly.
Whereas, like for instance, the biggest one is in sports. There are a couple, but right now in football, it's Cristiano versus Messi, right? Why do we have to ask who is greater? Can't we just chill and enjoy?
No, I think it's brilliant conversation. It's really
good for the interesting, but I think where it gets toxic a bit,
It gets
social media.
Yeah, it gets
and
toxic.
Twitter,
Yeah.
where we like to confuse who our favorite is, because what we want, or rather what we've been conditioned to right now, is that our opinions have to be superior to the next person.
Yeah.
Our perspectives have to be superior, because that's how we get our validation, which is a totally wrong way of living.
Looking at it.
And that's how it happens. So we want to, it comes even in the way we vote, in the way we speak about issues. I want my opinion to be superior to your opinion,
To yours.
because that's how I get validation.
And not necessarily because it's factual.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just have to get into my echo chamber, find as many people as possible that agree with my point of view, and say, you know what, County 49 is the best show in Kenya right now. And then I come and say, no, it's Njorua Uber. And then we start having a conversation that wastes a lot of time, that really doesn't get into the qualities that we like from each. So there's a level of conversation that's deeper. So even for debating who is the greatest, there's I believe there's healthy ways, or there's healthy conversations that does that. And then there's others that either denigrate the people debating, or even denigrate devalue the accomplishments that these players have had. So it's toxic. I find it's toxic in some way.
I like what you've said. It's really about it's really about you.
It's about you, yes,
and your ego,
and
how smart you want to look.
Yes,
because like if you're discussing a movie and I want to say Shawshank is the best movie ever,
yes,
I want to tell you the reasons why, because that prison was, it
it
does not negate
sense.
that the other movies are not well done.
Yes, and that's why I like to think of it like, who's my favorite? Or if you tell me I like this player more, I'd like to understand why.
Where you're coming
because there's people that value feats of athletic ability because they've played themselves. So they'll say, you know what, yes, he's great, but my favorite player, that's what Usain Bolt said. I think a time when Messi was winning Ballon d'Ors, he said, okay, Messi could be better, but my favorite player is Cristiano. I think that's easier to get behind. Not that there shouldn't be a debate, but now you see how healthy such a conversation is.
becomes,
Because I can see how he sprints, I can relate to that. I can see his leaping ability, I can see what he does in this way, And you go to another player, now the initial Ronaldo, who says he prefers the artistry of Messi. You see, now that's a different kind of conversation. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I like how you've layered it and clearly. Hii yote imespring from Burna Ways. My favorites, just
Better, greater.
Better, greater.
Who sold more records?
I like what Waceke said, because
I
feel all these conversations come down to, I mean, the ego too.
It's
nothing other than the ego. That's all it is. It's all the self.
Kuna there's something around that we were to build off as well. Na nime get goosebumps after ni realize, maybe that's my moment as well. The whole soundtracks, now bringing it back. My favorite being, what's his name? Wizkid. He did something with Chris Brown, a really nice song. Then I realize, wait, bringing it back to that line of conversation, soundtracks for the year. Mine has to be that, clearly hata sikumbuki jina hiyo. I'm sure Maria knows. Ile song ya R&B ya Chris Brown with a really dope video. That has to be a really, like, it's an important song to me from this year.
And it has an Afro beat.
He's done a couple with Afro beats, but there is this, I think it won a couple of things. Chris Brown.
What's a lyric? A line?
Wacha tu nitafute Chris Brown. Mbona inanipatia Chris Brown?
You could just hum. She'll know.
Nitaribu bana.
I think I know which one.
You know the one.
Yes.
You know the one. The one with the video with the bald chick.
I'm not sure. I think I know the one.
Yeah?
But just confirm.
Wacha ni confirm hiyo tu saizi tu tukiangalia. Is there any other song coming to mind from your ears? Kamande, Waceke.
Waceke first?
First of a banger.
Hey.
Ni mwaka?
No.
Okay, I'm old. I am out of this.
You're not old, but I was thinking about that jam.
But that jam, I think I've listened to it more this year.
That jam, I feel like it missed out because it came out during Corona days.
Yes.
So a lot of that was like on social media. But I feel like if we were going to the Dunda, that jam would have shika.
Ilishika.
Yeah.
Ingeshika.
Yeah.
Ilitoka, I feel like wrong timing kabisa for the Dunda.
Ilitoka when?
Last year, 2021 ama 2020.
Yeah, because ilifanywa kwa TikTok for a minute. Yeah,
it was there on
ilifanywa for a minute.
No, but it's just fine. I think we are sometimes caught up in this mindset that whatever's newer is what
better.
is better.
Yeah,
but anything that is good is timeless.
Oh yeah, that's the most. So
it doesn't matter if you watch. If I tell you have you watched The Wire? I tell me no.
Please don't.
And then I tell you, you've missed out. If I watch it now, it's going to be still the same.
Yeah.
It's still excellent.
Let's
but
not get into
something important to
yes.
your ear. Usiende idea The Wire. I found the song. It's called Under the Influence.
I think that's the song all of us were thinking.
Yeah,
that's why I wanted you to have a lyric.
Yeah,
but just say a lyric.
I found myself thinking, oh God, we are back to R&B. So yeah, if there is one for my ear, that has to be it. Chris Brown did it for me, and a couple of guys are back. Tank is back. I was happy to see that. Asha is still doing his thing. Like R&B, I think na prophesy is going to be a really good R&B year in 2023. Like I feel there'll be I saw a couple of songs from Marcus Houston, Chini ya Maji tu Niko tu. Okay, now we're going back to R&B.
Marcus Houston?
Yes.
Marcus Houston. Wow.
Yeah. So Sa is brilliant. Like the R&B is coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's it for me.
Other than First of a banger. No. That's still okay.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Me, what comes to mind?
Chronics.
No, Chronics, obviously. I feel like I always like converge back to a lot of to reggae music. But now there's like a group of artists in that circle. They call them, I don't know if they call them the new reggae revolution, like bringing back consciousness into reggae music. And so Protege released an album this year. I think that's Time the Charm or something. Really good as well. Grammy nominated, but for him he's been nominated again. I mean, it's a big thing for reggae music, for him as an individual especially. But Kabaka Pyramid, who's also one of my favorite artists, also released an album. It's called The Calling. And that, I think, has been my favorite album for the year, and everything in there, and he's also nominated for the music. So it's also good to see for whatever that part of music and whoever makes those decisions, we can say a lot about them, but to just see that level of music being recognized, that sort of music being because it's like a lot of conscious music, and the whole album is pretty conscious. He's a Rastafari, and it's really speaking to the consciousness of, and this we call it the levity. One of the things I really believe is true is that music has an influence on society significantly, just as we're talking about sports. And so I'm always inclined to, okay, on this ultimate level, what are we trying to do? We're trying to be better people, and this is a project of building our love for other people and purifying our hearts and minds. And the influences that are there in our lives play a significant role in that, because they condition the kids in certain ways. Even for us, whatever you ingest into your body significantly influences your thoughts and your patterns and all that, right? So if we get more people, we're having this conversation earlier about purifying the world as we know it, and escaping rebirth through purification of the hearts. The music that we consume really influences that. And so if we get more people, I think if you get more people to sort of listen to such music, it might not necessarily be reggae, it could be hip-hop, but it's conscious hip-hop. It's whatever else really, but it's music that sort of speaks to certain values and certain, ways of approaching life that is ethical and built up for purifying and building a virtuous heart, if you may call it that, then maybe the world will be a better place, I think. I could be wrong entirely, but
No, I think
that's how I see it.
You're right. And going a level deeper to that, I believe when it comes to how your thoughts shape your life, and just listening to Waceke, in terms of the experience that you went through and how you approach your life right now, knowing that I'm enough as a mother. I do the best that I can, and not just the best that I can, I'm doing well as a mother. I believe the approach that it has, or the impact that you can see even now in your life, is different versus having a negative outlook or a mindset about things. Even in and of itself, if it doesn't change your circumstance, just having the right kind of thoughts changes your life.
Man, there's a quote I like talking about on the Busy Being Born podcast here. You say that your relationship with thoughts shapes your life.
It does. Very true.
Yeah.
True.
Very true.
Yeah. So
And now going deeper, it's I liked a way someone broke it down is emotions are fickle. They can be anything, but they're mostly shaped by what you're thinking, and they can change up, down. But now also what you're thinking now stems from what you believe about yourself. So you have to address issues about emotions and even thoughts. Start from what you believe. If you believe you're enough, if you believe you're a good mother, if you believe you're valuable, that also now
you're
creates
worthy.
Yes, that creates now that chain reaction up to.
Yeah.
Yes,
That is true,
That's
man.
dope. That's
Yeah.
dope.
So coming back here, a lot of Kabaka pyramid and with some very dope jams in there.
Yeah.
The calling and addiction. Addiction is a nice jam because he tells the story of how we are addicted to. He breaks it into 3 verses. The first one is on social media. The moment you get up, the first thing you look at is the phone. You're literally one with the phone. Wow. Second one is sugar cravings. Actually, the second one is buying things on Amazon and whatever ordering. I guess that is less afflictive in our part of the world. Excuse me. But I think in more...
I think there's a parallel, not in Amazon, but in just having that consumerism.
Yes,
we do
so
have
that's the
that.
second one. And then the third verse, he addresses sugar. Like the interesting things, because he addresses like sugar cravings are the reason. They're the main. It's a main culprit for a lot of the things that we are having challenges with health-wise, and it's an addiction. So, and then so many nice jams in there. It's called The Calling, and it's an amazing album.
Calling. Check it out. Hey, I don't know. Locally, do we have any excitement towards any particular songs, albums, artists that have? Because nakumbuka 2020 was Sauti Sol did their thing, like individually. 2020, 2021. This year, what was it besides Lil Mama? Lil Mama. Is there any other particular
That was
artist
even more
excite?
recent.
Yeah,
I could go first.
Yeah, jump in.
Matata. I think Matata.
You liked them?
Yeah, I like them.
that's
And there's a recent jam that I really like.
Supermorio.
Siko
Fiti.
Fiti
That was
is
good.
yeah, it's a really good jam. And I think that I've not listened to the whole album, but I think they are I'm excited about them.
That's what's up. They even did a jam with Wakadinali.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matata is a really sweet pick.
Yeah.
Hey. Anyone else?
Me,
Any
I think the
particular-
last Kenyan album I indulged in is Nyashinsky's. I don't know if it was in 2020 or 2021.
I think it was 2020.
2020, I
Lucky
think.
You. It was called Lucky You.
Lucky You.
Lucky You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was dope.
It's the
Lucky You
last.
is the
And I am a fan of Nyashinsky.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys ever bring him here, please invite me to just come and chill.
He's coming
pale.
very soon. Yeah.
Sindio?
Yeah, you will.
Because I love that guy so
6
much. and
degrees of
he's
separation.
So dope.
Tutaona vile tutamfikia.
Nyashinsky is dope. Hapo shake am with you.
so dope.
Nyashinsky is dope.
He had a recent project around the Shin City project.
Yep. He has 4 jams.
Yeah, like
Man,
a
those-
short,
yeah.
Showman was good.
Have you guys seen his ad
Showman is
of Johnny
good.
Walker?
The ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God.
It's pretty good.
Nyashinsky, man.
He's impressive.
You'll be soon here on the podcast.
This is what we trust.
I know you're listening.
Any particular one for you?
For this, I didn't discover necessarily anyone new.
Yeah.
Because
Last time you were here, you were
Brandy
high
Minor.
on...
she's doing well.
Yeah.
So after that, there was this project that they did for live performances. You should check it out if anyone wants to. She's called Njerai.
Jerai. Okay.
Yes.
Spell it for us.
Njeerae.
Jerai. Jerai. Check it out.
Check her
Check
out.
it out for
YouTube,
sure.
she's brilliant too.
Yeah.
She's brilliant.
Jerai. Akia nani. Hata mi na feel guilty sijasikiza watu wengi sana. I know Nani had a recent album launch. Nimesikia 1 or 2 jams. This
And I think
mse nikifanya nadhani mtajua.
Chris Kaiga? No.
Si Chris Kaiga. Huyu mwingine wa Mameno. What's his name? I'm sure Nani.
Butros.
Yes, Buti had a recent album. Na alikuwa na Angela. There's a song called Angela. That's pretty dope. Na ina sound ka Feska band.
and I'm thinking I missed out on because I was busy. I think Sero has a new album.
Sero has a new project out.
Yes.
Sure.
It's called Misimo. 2022.
Misimo.
Yes.
20. Oh, dope.
Yes.
Hey, hapo sa maze clearly tunafaa kuketi and do better.
Yeah.
We will. 2023.
Sero has a new album, so
yeah.
shout out. She's
Shout
one
out
of my
Sero.
favorites too.
Yeah. Hapo sawa maze. Shout out Sero.
Movies and anything that stood out. I've not watched any movies, so I'll skip myself.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
No, I haven't even watched the new Wakanda Forever. So
Oh, no wonder tunasema Mbaku unachorea hiyo story. Okay.
You with me, eh? Okay.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year at the cinemas. Did you check?
I imagine I'm on the same boat. I haven't watched
I think
movies.
the only
I haven't gone to the
only-
cinema this year.
I was at the cinema once and I
haven't.
watched Black Adam, but that's it. That's the extent to
okay.
the movies that
Sasa
I
niko
watched.
excited solo.
Twende.
Hebu to show.
No, I won't do all of
No,
that.
come on, let's go.
Niko Black Adam hata stands a story. Niko Black Adam happened.
Give us your best 3.
My best 3. I'd say there's a really, I wouldn't call it a tiny movie, but a beautifully short film. It's called Where the Crawdads Sing. I really loved it. I think it's the kind of film I'd like to make. It's in quote unquote rural America. So it's like a small town, a story about a tiny girl whose story to go, where is this going? It's a really tiny story, but it's impeccably shot. I loved it, every bit of it. The moments of silence, how it, like the sound production on it was brilliant. It was really good for me. That was one of my favorite experiences. It didn't do as many, like box office. I didn't do much. For the big ones, well, sija catch Avatar. Niko tu, I'll just do that January when akujaja. I watched Wakanda twice because of the hype of taking people who go, to share, let's go and catch it. It's in my top 5, sure, but top 3, like you said, I'll say Crawdads, I'll say Nope. I really loved Nope. That was really good. Kaluuya did the thing, like Daniel Kaluuya.
Shout out to Uganda. Sebo. He's Sebo, isn't he?
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah, British actor, but yes, the Ugandan descent. Then there's, I loved Amsterdam. Amsterdam was a really good film as well. Kuna time nilikuwa nimeweka like 10 things I've watched, nimezi break down and everything. So top 3 now that see conversation tafungua.
No, but you know what you're doing. Those are the things I'm going to watch.
You're going to check them out.
Q1, that's what you're going to watch.
Jump in.
I trust you, man.
Why not? Why not? Really good projects done. Locally, Click Bang was a decent watch. They did good. I'm proud of what the Kenyan filmmakers are doing here. I pray that we have as many people out there to watch the stuff. As many as they went out to watch Wakanda. Yeah, because me nimewatch hizi movies tukiwa less than 20 people in the cinema, all those movies throughout the year. Then Wakanda hata siko napata space. Niko, where are these people? Because it's like a Monday ritual for me. This Monday, Niko, all these people. Kwani, yeah. But anyway, cinemas are back. We are glad people are going to spaces to watch stuff. Tumeenda high moments and entertaining moments. What about the laws? And I know we even haven't spoken about election, but let's go to the laws first, like the moments zilikugonga tumbo huko. That one, especially for us as a people. And we can even try and look at, let's start with the zinaitangoaje in memoriam. Are there any artists, leaders, any people we look back on 2022 and say
as recently as last night as we're recording this, Pele, I think Pele is far away, but all of us know about Pele and Maradona as the previous GOAT conversation. And we grew up knowing Pele. So Pele, then Waceke just told us about
Catherine Kasavuli.
May she rest in peace.
Yeah.
The OG of TV in Kenya, really.
For sure.
I have one more, but at the beginning of this year, Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh passed on. He died, but he's, based on his teaching, is like there's no death, is really just a transformation. It's like the rain and clouds. It's all a cycle. So he's not gone, and he was very peaceful. So in such cases, it doesn't even feel, you learn so much from that. It doesn't even feel painful, or the grief is not as much because of what he's done to prepare you for death. And so even like reading about his death and his approach to his teachings generally, right? They're very transformational in terms of mindfulness. Yeah. That. So Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh.
Any particular ones, Byron?
Vioja Mahakamani, I think his name, Karani, or if I'm not wrong,
Gibson.
Yes.
Gibson, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was one of those actors who've been doing this for the longest time. So rest his soul. Sheke, any particular one?
Yeah. My dad. In June. Yeah. And my very good friend, Maina Olonya. Yeah.
Condolences for both, for sure. For those who are watching us for the first time, I'm hearing the names of these artists for the first times and family for the first time. It's beautiful to look back and say we are glad we did life with them. And like vile tu Kamande amesema, yeah, cyclic, makes the pains slightly more. You can pick it and walk. But yeah, for sure, for the industry, losing Oluenya was a big deal. He was mourned for quite a while. I remember being there at the National Theatre the night before he rested, and even that morning, mi nilichoose tu kwenda the kumpatia respects zangu, then wengine wakam send off to the ground, and that was like, I saw the whole industry coming together, and there are things you could pick from that whole experience. But I have to acknowledge that he was a great talent that we lost for sure. So
Nairobi Half-Life,
Nairobi
man.
Half-Life
OT
is the project.
That's like for years to come. That will be remembered as what a performance.
Yeah.
And I think just before he passed on, I think that's when Country Queen had been released, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember
actually they released it, I think, on that week that he passed on. Yeah. So it's a shame we never even got to see it on Netflix. And the thing about Oluenya, he was brilliant on screen, on TV series, on stage. He's that guy that if you're on stage with him, and even if he doesn't have his lines, you're the one who'll look stupid. Because he'll tell the story with his expressions and his presence. Won't give you a whole chunk of lines, a whole paragraph, but you'll look stupid. You know?
I remember, that's a very interesting, because I remember, I don't know which show I went to on stage. So as a person who's like been on stage, I don't have experience. Like, I can tell when someone doesn't have their lines. Like you guys can tell. When there's an inside joke going on, and someone is really trying to not break character, I can see it. Most people can, but I can see it. I suppose because of that slight entry into the other. I remember thinking that on our stage show. So when you say it as a person who's like seasoned actor and thespian, it's interesting because I saw it. I saw this Umseana line.
The guy with Oluenya or Oluenya?
Oluenya.
Anatubamba.
But he was the most hilarious person on stage. He killed it. But I was like, Umseana line.
Like he was amazing.
Every other thing he touched. Hey, brilliant man. Lots of lessons from he was the star thing, the spectacle thing. He definitely had it. Definitely had it. Wrapping up Sasa on 2022. What do we feel? Elections, new government. What are our feelings? I'm about to go politics.
Sisi to discuss, I think, but we could also like just sum it up. But what are your thoughts, Sheke?
About the new government?
Yeah, the new government and the whole elections.
The whole elections thing. Wow. First of all, me, I was in that fraction of Kenyans that they went how they didn't think they were gonna go. So as in mi ilinishtua sitawadanganya liko we kumbe vitu zinawezaenda hivi like also as a person sometimes una realize pia wewe unaweza dhani kitaumana ama kitaenda vile, then kukuwe na shifts zau happen. For the first time, I guess it's adulting, I was really getting involved up and ndani, you know, hopeful, nini. And then, bado nikaget your shift, at the end of the day, even with elections and leaders and whatnot, kazi ni kwako kama binadamu. Achana tu nazo, kazi ni kwako.
Yeah.
So I'm not the kind of a person, I almost became that kind of a person who is pegging hopes on the government being able
and
to...
the trajectory of your life. Yeah.
But then nika realize, uko solo.
Yeah.
By the uko solo. So I'm at a space where I just wish Kenya all the best. As in...
yeah, you guys. Yeah.
I wish us all the best. I hope that matunda itakuwa mzuri. Arts, you know, especially in the arts, we keep on having this new hope. Ati tutaget new policies and all these things. So niko like, tukiget ni sawa. Tusipoget pia,
it is what it is.
It's going expectations more.
Sina expectations. Yeah.
But I like that wishing us all the best. I mean, that's my sentiment as well. I might not necessarily agree with politicians and even this government. I don't agree with a lot of the things they do. But it's what we have.
It's what we have.
And so let everyone do their role and, you know, wish them all the best. I hope they succeed because if succeeding means that Kenya is a better country, then
here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm rooting for them. I think we're rooting for them. If they make a mistake, then we must say,
like what you did with the rooting.
Yeah.
It wasn't intentional.
No, okay. Zero. But I'm not as creative as you. Yeah, you see, that's what you pick up. But chekesha watu. Byron, as we wrap up.
All right. For me, it was one of those times that I did take a step back and I wanted to watch the events unfold objectively. Like Waceke, and I think most of the people in the room, the sentiment was it went the way no one expected or no one not no one. The people, most of the people here did not desire. But what I came through with that was just documenting now the stages from ordinary life to the euphoria and now to the downtown afterwards. And I hope we don't have that as we go along. I see the problems that we have if you're objective, not that I'm validating what the government is doing, they actually predated the elections. And now the solutions to them, people have to realize they are beyond just elections. They're just beyond electioneering or the politicking. So for me, the difference that I had with some of the people that I feel were on the side that didn't get to government, after the whole process was completed, for me, I believe, and it is my opinion, however bad it is, we do have a legitimately and validly elected government. That's my sentiment. Despite the fact that I may not agree or that I did not even maybe endorse them, I do believe that's what the case is. So I'm thinking the problems or the solutions to the problems are deeper and they require a more holistic way in terms of addressing them. So I did keep I documented, especially for the people around me, the upturn and then the downturn, and then life goes back to normal. And everyone you're buying fuel at the same price despite whoever you voted for. You're paying the same taxes despite or whichever community you're coming from. So it shows you that the solutions to those problems are just beyond your political leaning. They have to be deeper.
They have to be deeper, maze.
You?
Well, hata me, I guess. Clearly now tuko on the same vibe on a lot of things, but yeah, no comment. All I'll say is...
Echo chamber.
Yes. All I'll say is I remember reading a tweet. Again, I don't know if I've shared this here. Yeah, hiyo mtu alikuwa na enjoyana. Ako, first of all, mi yangu ilikuwa, oh man, hata mi shift ili happen, niko, oh man, like, wow, this is what we've chosen. Niko, sawa. I was heartbroken. Let me use that word. I was heartbroken. I sat in that weird feeling for a couple of days. But that night, I remember, like one of the final times hii story yote ilifungwa, mta ilikuwa imetoka ina dance, then tweet imeandikwa, kaa kwenu watu wana dance nje, we hama, change nilikuwa, yeah, maybe it's time kuhama, unajua.
Please but useme ulihama.
Sikuhama.
Okay.
Ini plan.
Plan.
Mwaka mpya mambo mapya. But nilikuwa okay. Yeah, I guess we are seeing life in different ways, and like we are rooting for a better Kenya. So if this is what means it's one of the ways we get there, well and good. If it's lessons are good as well. Yeah. So there we go.
Before I asked for the quotes and wind up, I must say that I'm glad that all of us here participated in some shape or form, because I think it's our obligation. We should participate, right?
Sure.
We should participate and sort of influence those around us to participate as well. So I'm really happy that you guys did that. Yeah, that's when we change things, by participating.
For sure.
Yeah. Quote that.
Yeah, from the year I'm looking into the new one.
Yeah. Any quote that comes to mind that stood out for you? We haven't even talked about books, but we know.
I guess for me it's a simple one. You're enough.
You're enough. Amazing.
I'll take that.
Byron?
For me, it goes back to a show on Amazon. It's called El Presidente. It's about the Chilean football president and the whole FIFA corruption scandal. So the quote I found to be interesting for him, because it's in Spanish, but it's along the lines that football, and I found it applies to life too, that football is a game in which for 90 minutes people throw themselves wholeheartedly or emotionally into it and deceive themselves that either their fandom or the skill of the players determines the outcome rather than the chance of a ball going or falling into or outside the net. So we just put so much, and I found it applies in many areas in life where we tend to believe that our self-effort or our planning, to a degree it does, but to another degree life lives. If I may say that. So that's an interesting quote from that.
It's all experience.
Yes.
That's what there is.
Yeah, lifing. In this moment, none comes to mind really. Okay. But Nico, see, we are doing Busy Being Born all through. I'm sure like all these things, zikianza kusettle, zikisediment, nitakuwa na more moments of clarity from the year. Because like I said, I've barely sat. So yeah, into the new year, hopefully I'll do it more intentionally. Then itakuwa easy ya kusema, oh yeah, there is this quote or two I could attach to seasons in the year. What about you?
You know me, I love quotes. Several. One that actually has been very significant is everything changes. Everything changes. The impermanence of everything, good, bad. But sort of in the same line, that and this is a drive of my aspiration, is for as long as there is attachment to the pleasant and aversion to the unpleasant, liberation is impossible.
I'll take it.
As long as there is attachment to the
pleasant and aversion to the unpleasant. Liberation is impossible.
Hey. As we get into hopefully more liberated year in the different ways, as to wrap up, anything we are looking forward to, ili kwa World Cup, any particular things to 2023 ikitu inakam, zile tu zina pop in mind. Wacha tuone. For me, of course, I'm excited for more Kenyan films. TV shows zile zinakam for Kenya ni way more. I'm excited for Busy Being Born on the Tube.
Yep. I think that's the
Excited
biggest one
for
for me.
that. Yeah. So a lot of entertainment and growth from the industry, both podcasting and TV and film. You guys?
Same for me.
Yeah.
More TV and more viewership and more investment, especially in terms of marketing and also what the production value, what we do put in, sometimes doesn't compare or isn't even a fraction for us to produce what we'd like. The talent is there in it's you. I can't even speak for the talent, but in terms of the investment and the structure, I'm really looking forward to that or praying for that.
I'm looking forward to doing a dope role, like a role where now I'm fighting, like for real. I want an action. I had so much fun doing County 49. You know, gun handling, nini, but now I'm looking forward to do a role that I'm
Like
kicking and punching and everything. Yeah. Even if I'm
Mpakani.
like Mipakani.
Yeah.
I was in Mipakani as a second AD. It was amazing.
Season 2.
Yeah.
For me, the last one is the Rugby World Cup 2023. It's happening in France and it's going to be epic because the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere, all of them are at an incredible level right now. So your France's, your Ireland, and then on this other side you have South Africa and New Zealand. Oh, it's going to be epic. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Meeting of the Titans.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, asanteni sana. Hata kabla niwashukuru you guys who are listening or even watching, let me say thank you to our co-hosts for the episode. It's been another year. Asanteni sana.
Thank you for having us.
Byron and Waceke.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
Good to see you guys. Maza, you guys have barely changed. Mko tizi. Like you look exactly the same you did. I'm sure guys wataona like from years ago.
Yeah.
What's the secret?
Guys, look. Yeah.
Venye tumeketi.
Oh yeah?
I know what the secret is.
Umejua?
Najua.
Ni avocado.
Ni avocado.
Avocado. Mask avocado.
Maze, but
No,
yeah.
but seriously though, it's your hearts.
Yeah, no, they have
Thank you so
beautiful
much.
hearts.
Yeah, it's your hearts that are keeping you younger.
Hey.
You guys are
Busy
dope.
being born,
Hata
guys.
nyie mchange.
Yeah.
Hamchange hata kidogo.
Asante sana. Ukiambia hivyo abu atanishow. We, punguza wheat. Uda wheat ni wheat. Oh, good. Thank you so much. Speaking of Abu, thank you so much for everyone who's journeyed with us throughout the year. Asante sana, Abu, for always being as dope as you are in the different things that you do in every way, like even at a spiritual support. Bro.
Yeah, man.
And I use that word very specifically, spiritual. See, you get connection on a deeper level. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, we have new energy which we haven't had in a minute. So Maria.
Hey. She popped in.
She did.
Yeah,
She did.
She's out there killing it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing a thing. Busy being born.
Busy being born.
And yeah, last but not least, Grace. Asante sana, our dope videographer, cinematographer. Man, this chick is tech as nothing else. Hey, I think anahitaji tu ngepa kaya Kamande. Imeke hivi tu flip back. Here for the work.
Yeah.
Asante sana, Grace. Asante sana. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, you know where to find us. And now that we are on YouTube, tutakuwa tunaweka snippets of it. Go back to our website, go back to all the different platforms, listen to the stuff, tell us who you like. But over all that, stay busy being born and have a happy new 2023 or whenever you watch this. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, you can find us on Twitter at busybeingborn_. That's the same on Instagram as well. Find us on YouTube at busybeingborn for snippets of this. And you can listen to us and share on every platform where podcasts are available. On Spotify, Apple Podcast, Teacher, Overcast, whatever. And if you can, kindly leave a comment or a rating on Apple Podcasts. That will help us gain more visibility. That's the least that you can help us with that.
Yeah.
At least. And
the merch is coming.
And the merchandise is coming. Have sick merch. That's coming up in the new year. That's our thing for the new year. Other than that, we are very grateful. Listen to Abu's episode. He's an amazing storyteller on episode 36. That's a big one for the year as well. The man behind it all. So other than that,
for you guys, online tunawapata wapi?
Veronica Waceke on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. TikTok,
Hey.
TikTok too. On Twitter, it's at V Waceke. So I'm barely active on Twitter.
Jolly.
But
It's
yeah,
Elon's
Veronica
world.
Elon's world. We didn't even talk about tech. There's a lot happening in tech.
Byron ako ndani ya nyumba.
CHURA.co.ke.
Yeah.
That's all you'll find me. Oh, what's up?
What's up? 07, are you right? Asante sana. We have been your hosts for the year and beyond, Kigondu.
Kamande.
And you know what we say. If you're not busy,
if you're not busy being born,
then you're probably busy not leaving.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Do look out for more from us. For now, kwaheri.